वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपाम्बुदीयतमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, warm welcome everyone in the study of Srimad Nectar of Instruction, an exploration of Krishna consciousness. So we'll continue our study and studying this divine instructions, divine nectar um, given to us by Srila Rupa Goswami, the saint, the Acharya from Vrindavan, Srila Rupa Goswami. And Prabhupada, he imbibed the entire mood of the Acharyas, and with this nectar of instructions is what he founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this is what a sadhaka should follow. And these instructions, na, these instructions can help us. These instructions will make us attain Krishna in this life itself. One thing must be clear: we are practicing or trying to practice, or even practicing Krishna consciousness in whatever big or small way, say. Uh, with our whatever say even say still our conditioning, but we should be very clear that we practice Krishna consciousness for what and for what purpose: to attain the association of Krishna, to attain the service of Krishna, mm, to get an entrance in the eternal pastimes of Krishna. So day in day out, through reading, hearing, chanting, japa, everything, it should invoke, we should be captured like Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada writes na, in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 15:6, na tad bhasyate suryo na sasanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam maya." So Prabhupada writes there, right, that in the purport, somewhere second paragraph towards the end, or I believe that one should be captivated by this information, by the supreme transcendental world. One should be captivated, but that there exists a realm where Radha Krishna and all the, say, the pure devotees, the Brajvasis, the associates of Krishna, are eternally engaged in loving pastimes. Uh, But problem is we are so conditioned, so heavily conditioned to this realm of temporariness. So conditioned to the modes of material nature, to the realm of this temporariness, that this attraction towards eternity does not really shake us up altogether. Mm. We are so deep rootedly conditioned that we make compromises in life. We just settle down. We are fine, okay, this much only I can do. But no, following these instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, especially like say first 8 instructions, first 7 instruction, I would say, just in my head, say, they are of a different nature. Fourth one is extremely critical. Fourth is extremely critical. Eighth is extremely critical, and the 9, 10, 11, they are a different level of instruction altogether. We cannot enter 9, 10, 11. There are 11 instructions. We cannot enter 9, 10, 11 unless, until and unless we have understood text 8, the instruction 8 very nicely. Until and unless we are grounded, we are well situated, or until and unless we develop a desire to get text 8 very much in our consciousness altogether. And we cannot come to text 8 until and unless we cannot really relish or appreciate and also come in living the message in text 8 unless we have fully imbibed or understood or relishing or living the message, the instruction in text 4. But anyways, this is all through the blessings of acharyas, through the blessing of Mahatpurush, pure devotees, and to the blessings of presently present, mm, presently present pure devotees. We have to find out human life is meant to inquire into God, and devotee life. When we start into taking into Krishna consciousness, into the practice of Krishna consciousness, then Krishna conscious life is meant to inquire into a pure devotee of the Lord. So when we search, when we serve Vaishnavas, realized Vaishnavas who are presently present, then by their blessings we find our more and more intrigue in Krishna consciousness. So these instructions will definitely make us attain Krishna in this life itself. Now, how much do we cherish? How much do we embody? How much do we value them instructions? And not just like someone may not be very appreciative for now say of Krishna consciousness, but everyone wants life in general, everyone wants to excel in life in general, right, in whatever field they are. So one who follows these instructions will undoubtedly find success in life in general in whichever field one is more working towards say. So with this hope, mood, prayer, aim, aspiration, desire, longing, hankering, yearning, crying, that we imbibe these instructions thoroughly. We put on these instructions in our around our neck as we wear neck beads, na. So likewise, we put these instructions around our neck and live by these instructions and invoke more and more blessings of Vaishnavas. Of Srila Rupa Goswami for sure, Acharyas for sure, and presently Gurudev's blessings. That is a must. That is a must. Narottam Das Thakur in his writings, teachings says na, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Paeche Keva. Without serving devotees, one can never attain Krishna consciousness. One can never attain Krishna, or one can never experience joy in Krishna consciousness unless one serves devotees of the Lord. So with this, we continue. We have been studying text one. Today we'll try to continue further in text one. So I will read the shloka once. It should be appearing on the screen. Text one. So I will read the shloka, and after me, will kindly request all of you if you can unmute and read chant the shloka, or those who can unmute and chant or muted and chant or whichever way as you find comfortable, huh? So it should be on the screen for every one of us to see and then can chant as well later say. So nectar of instruction and text one. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udarpasta vegam एतान् वेगान् विसहेत धीरा सर्वामपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात्.
वाचो वेगं मनसं क्रोधवेगं जिव्या वेग
वेगा
जिव्या वेगं मुद्रो पस्थवेगं इतना इतना विज्ञानो
एतान् वेगान्
एतान् वेगान्यो विषहेत्
विषहेत
धीरः सर्वामपि मां पृथ्वीं स शिक्ष्याथ.
हरि
हरि
बोल. Very nice. See, all the writings, teachings of acharyas, na, our all these Vaishnava writings, teachings, they can be sung in song form. Hmm? They can be sung very nicely in song form. Bhagavad Gita, all the shlokas can be chanted, na? Nectar of instruction, Bhagavatam, very nice. And this is so purifying, chanting shlokas, so purifying. Okay, so Renas Prabhu, kindly read translation. And then Kartike, you know from where to read the purport, so you can start from that paragraph.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Um, a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
Yeah. Scroll down, Renus. We read a bit purport yesterday, so let us continue. Yeah, scroll down. One more, yeah. After this paragraph, real atonement, the next paragraph. No, one paragraph up, please.
This
Scroll
one.
up, Renus. So
Prabhuji, should I
you
start?
see, yeah, you can start. So Renus, bring in the screen from this. First one must control his speaking power. Scroll up. Yeah, further up. First one must control his speaking power. So one para above this, I think. Yes. Okay, Karthike, please read.
Hare Krishna. First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of toad, however, simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self imposed silence, the eternal process of mauna, as Mayavadi philosophers think. Silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveys by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. The relentless or fickle, fickleness of the mind, Manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Chaitramit, Chaitramitra Madhya 22:31 says,
कृष्ण सूर्य सम माया होया अंधकार यहाँ कृष्ण तहाँ नाई मायार अधिकार.
Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun represents, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the minds being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create vacuum in mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled.
Harsha, read.
Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether. But if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreant brothers Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. In his Sikshataka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Tranada api sunichena taror api sahisnuna. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask why the Lord exhibited his anger. The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like fire against the offenders. Krodha, anger, cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramachandra. This means that he utilized his anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord.
Continue, Harsha.
As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasada. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. One should take prasad at scheduled times and should not eat in restaurants or sweet meat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly. If we stick to the principle of taking only prasad, the urges of the belly and tongue can be controlled.
Anuja, read. Anuja or Kshitij, read, whosoever can read. Okay, Karthik, read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Uh, in a similar manner, the urges of genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. The genitals should be. Anuja just texted Prabhuji. She was reading. She's saying
Yeah, that's fine. We were not able to hear her. Continue reading.
can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. The genitals should be used to beget a Krishna conscious child, otherwise, they should not be used. The Krishna consciousness movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of the genitals, but for the begetting of Krishna conscious children. As soon as the children are a little grown up, they are sent to our Gurukula school where they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. Many such Krishna conscious children are required, and one who is not capable of bringing
One
forth
who is
Krishna conscious.
capable of bringing.
Sorry, Prabhuji. And one who
One
is
who is.
capable
Hmm. Hmm.
when and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals.
Chal.
When one is
Anuja,
fully
read, Anuja, read next. Just that sentence next, and then we'll discuss about.
When one is fully practiced in the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to be a bona fide spiritual master.
Okay, read one more para, Anuja.
In his in his
Anuvritti. Hmm.
Anuvritti explanation of Upadeshamrit,
Hmm.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that our material identification creates three kinds of urges: the urge to speak, the urge or demands of the mind, and the demands of the body. When a living entity falls victim to these three types of urges, his life becomes inauspicious. One who practices resisting these demands or urges is called tapasvi, or one who practices austerities. By such tapasya, one can overcome victimization by the material energy, the external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Jan. Okay, shall we discuss little bit till here? Then we'll see. Uh, so, okay, screen share readiness can be removed and check. So, Vacho Vegam, Mansa Vegam. Jiva Vegam, Udarapastha Vegam. Vacho Vegam, Mansa Krodha Vegam. Jiva Vegam, Udarapastha Vegam. Veg is what? The urge. The urge to speak. So, as it says na, in the purport, like we discussed na, previously, um, who is a powerful person? One who has the highest tolerance level. Na? Is very powerful. One to the degree we are self-control, to the degree we are powerful. Na? To the degree we are self-controlled means we do not get affected or influenced by externals. Mm, To that degree, to the degree we have tolerance level. To that degree we are wise. Say. We do not get disturbed again by external factors. Mm, And this is must. This is must. See, in life we cannot move ahead. Look, we discussed no the other day. What this question we tried to understand, right? What is that prayer? Huh, Karthike, what is that prayer? Renas, you were also there, I think, right? What is that prayer which we all pray for in material life, knowingly, unknowingly? That quality which we all aspire, which we all want in material life. Hmm? And if someone has it, we really respect that person. But in spiritual life, it is invalid. It does not exist. We do not pray. We do not want it. Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji, we discussed that.
So, what is that quality?
Maybe if there's someone new, they can try to attempt the answer.
No, that's fine. You can give the answer, Karthike.
That satisfaction.
Satisfaction, contentment, santosh. In Hindi, na santosh, tripti. huh? So this satisfaction, this contentment, tripti, santosh, we all want in life. Be student life, working life, whichever, whatever we are doing. We want to be just okay, satisfied and content. But in Krishna consciousness, there is no satisfaction. There is no satisfaction because it is it makes us greedy altogether. It makes us completely greedy. It is ever increasing joy, it is ever increasing bliss. So when we are in a realm where there is always increasing joy, always increasing bliss, always newer and newer, hmm, finer and finer varieties of joy, how can we be actually settled or satisfied? Na? So, in order to settle down in Krishna consciousness, in order to firmly situate ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we have to settle down in life. Settle down meaning, okay, we have to be content, we have to be satisfied. See, in this material world, there is no settling down. In the sense, no one can say, okay, this is an ideal job, ideal house, ideal wife, ideal country I'm living in. No, no, means no one can settle down. Oh yes, fine. Now I got this job, I am settled now. Now I got this house, I'm settled now. Now I got this car, I'm settled now. No, there is no settling in this material world. And in pure Krishna consciousness, also there is no settling. Hmm? Krishna, he will never let us settle down. In pure Krishna consciousness, there is such higher and higher, newer and newer joys. One wouldn't want to settle down there. So, in order to be in the realm of Krishna consciousness, we have to be tripped, we have to become satisfied and content with our present situation. Otherwise, we cannot move on. Otherwise, we cannot move ahead in life. So, this. Uh, this is why Srila Rupa Goswami is telling us that before you embark anything big in life, learn to tolerate the urges. Start tolerating. And one who cannot tolerate na one who cannot tolerate the urge to speak, the urges of the mind, the demands of the mind, desires, belly, genitals and all, he's not at all, he's how can he be qualified to accept any teacher, any student, no. And one who has mastered over his senses, one who has mastered over his mind, na, only he or she can have disciples. So Goswami, na? Goswami. What does the word Goswami means? Go means senses. Hmm? Go means senses and Swami means master. So one who is master of the senses is Goswami. And that is what Srila Rupa Goswami expects or wants us or desires from all of us individually, that we have to become master of our mind and senses, not slaves, not slaves of our mind and senses. And this is an individual's prerogative, individual's responsibility, individual's choice, uh, to become Goswami. This is not like, okay, just my Gurudev's quota or responsibility to become a pure devotee of the Lord. No. Becoming a pure devotee of the Lord is all of ours initiative, prerogative, responsibility. So before we embark in that journey, the must criteria, the threshold or the qualification is, have you become content in life? Are you content? Are you peaceful? Are you satisfied? Uh, in provoking situations, how do you fare? Uh, of course, it is not easier said than done. Say we are heavily conditioned, heavily, and we have a long way to go. It's an uphill task. So we should not get disturbed or discouraged. We should never give ourselves negative thoughts or negative feeds. That, anyways, is not going to help. Mm. And at the same time, we should be very careful and watchful of our vision, of our aim, goal in life, what we are up to. Uh, Rest is all a side business for us. Studying, working, family maintenance, bodily maintenance. This all should be our second priority, say, or a side business. Or our core thing is what? To become Krishna conscious, to always remember Krishna, to never forget Krishna, to glorify Krishna, to glorify Vaishnavas, to hanker for the association of Krishna, uh, to experience that separation from Krishna. This should be the prime. And in order to facilitate this prime thing, okay, rest, studies, and all this is more like job, family, and all, like fill in the gap. Fill in the gap. 24-hour quota na in a day. So some things has to be filled it up with. Okay, so fill in the gap with other things. As the world is busily engaged, we also try to show the world that yes, we are with you. Only face should be the with the world. Heart should be with Krishna. Externally, yes, world, we are with you. But internally, we should be preparing ourselves for attaining the transcendental realm. And in order to attain the transcendental realm, we have to come to a state of saturation, as in materially, I'm satisfied, I'm saturated. Materially, I do not have any questions. Although our conditioning will always trouble us, our conditioning is going to haunt us over and over again, repeatedly, until and unless we become completely attached in Krishna, with Krishna. The conditioning is going to haunt us, but still, we should always keep on marching on, marching on, marching on. We may be struggling to tolerate now, okay, but we march on. Our mind would be very fickle, but still we march on. We might not have been very sober, but still we march on. We still may be getting angry easily, or we still may be harboring many material desires. We don't know how much material desires we are carrying. Uh, It's okay, and it's not required as well to know. Just knowing this much, that I'm still conditioned, is good enough. How much and what details does not really help a lot. Effort should be made in understanding Krishna, in loving Krishna, in associating with devotees further. So this vacho vegam mansa krodha vegam na. Vacho means what? Speak. Uh, Vegam is what? Force na. Force. Tivra force. Intense gati. Intense force. Very sharp. Very deep. Very cutting force. So sometimes it happens na, like abruptly or unknowingly, or just we don't know from where, and we just speak out because something got gets triggered in us and we just speak out. So Rupa Goswami is saying that we have to become so normal, or we have to become so sane, or we have to become so spiritual or so line within with our identity, that when such a force and urge comes, still we are able to tolerate ourselves. What to speak of casual? So, and this does not mean, as we read in the purport, that nowhere is mentioned that don't talk, uh, that don't speak. No, it is not like that stop speaking or speaking is wrong. गांधी जी के है ना तीन वचन, बुरा ना देखो, बुरा ना बोलो, बुरा ना सुनो. Don't speak bad, don't look bad, don't hear bad. Uh, that is fine. See, the don'ts in life, they are more like a negative motivation. Na? Okay, don't speak bad. Don't talk bad. But Baba, emphasis should be where? Speak good, talk good. Na? We should make efforts there. And talk good meaning what? Talk Krishna conscious. Such valuable asset we have been given, such valuable human form of life we have been blessed with, right? And in this human form of life, we have been blessed with what? Beautiful tongue. Hmm? Tongue, there is no bone in the tongue, right? There's no bone in the tongue. So speak soft, speak gentle. Na? Why speak hard? Why speak harsh? Why speak rude? Why speak offending? Why speak cutting? Say, no. Eh, this speaking is such a quality. Now look, because of how we speak, wars broke up. History has shown na, wars break up how we speak. And this speaking quality makes us patch up as well, brings peace all together. Mm, because how we speak, wars break up, and how we speak can patch up and bring peace all together. So there is no this thing in not speaking. No, that is not the thing that do not talk. No, talk, but talk Krishna consciousness. Na? Tongue is given so we can chant 24 hours. eh, Chant as much as one likes, chant as much, continue chanting. Mahaprabhu's teachings is anyways Kirtanya Sadahari. Huh? That. And then what? Uh, we can read. Huh? Read. We can do Kirtan as much. There is no stopping in that. Huh? And so this thing, otherwise, you know what? When we speak throughout like this, we are inviting. Where are we going? Where are we? What are we inviting? We are inviting no more than death in our life. See, just by speaking, what our age is just limiting. Yes, age is going down every day, every moment. Anyways, we are approaching death. We are getting so much close to that. Is it not? Then what we talk and all this temporary rest na will lead us to nowhere but that. But when we talk Krishna Katha, when we talk about Krishna, when we talk about devotees, when we talk about bhakti, when we talk about loving devotional service,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you are not audible. Hare Krishna, Ashish Prabhu. We cannot hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hmm. So our talking should not be just idle gossips, na? Gramya katha, sansari baatein, na? This worldly talks. Worldly talks are good, but this worldly talks or gossips, na? I know some friends and family members, and
Prabhu, I think there is some network issues. We cannot hear you again.
Haribol. So just as Alex, Samantha, Ritesh, and others, and Angelica came in, my internet has started a bit playing up. So apologies. Uh, and see, whatever we speak, it definitely has an effect. It has an effect in our consciousness, and we don't live in isolation. None of us. So we spread that consciousness level as well, that vibration, and whatever we speak. See, either it enhances our life in the sense it can our speaking can take us to eternity. Now look, either it enhances our life in the sense it can our speaking can take us to eternity. Definitely. Speaking meaning chanting, japa. Speaking meaning
Prabhuji, we lost you again.
I guess you should rejoin Ashish because this is going back and forth.
Haribol. I'm back again, and hopefully I stay this time. Uh, Something to do with my network, but let's see. Huh? So our speaking, our s- our speaking, either it will keep us in the temporary realm, in the temporary zone, or it can transport us into eternity. Now look, I'm sure all of us would have experienced what um, so I know some of my friends, family members, and some of them happen to be in female bodies, say females, and bless them, they have the stamina to speak over phone for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour. How long do you know someone who has spoken over in phone for a continuous period, like in one phone call? Hmm? Haribol. So Krishna is definitely in control. We are seeing that, and best part is when we let Krishna be in control. That's the best part. The sooner we let Krishna be in control, then we will find control in life. But having said that, we let Krishna in control doesn't mean that we shy away from our responsibility or duties. No, we should be doing our responsibilities and duties. But yes, Krishna is always in full control. We should be always in remembrance and awareness of that. And the sooner it sinks with our consciousness, the more pleasant we will find ourselves to be, the more comfortable we'll find ourselves to be. So, speaking of speaking, huh, I happen to know some who have spoken in one phone call, straight 3 hours or 6 hours, straight and you know what chats like 6 hours, 3 hours. What did you cook? What did you wear? What holiday? Now, all the so much of talking we do, don't we? On a daily basis. And it is this sort of talking or this sort of listening drains us out, drains us all together. And when we take into the process of Krishna consciousness, again, uh, like this is a proposal or an appeal, say, or request, or take it, when we take into the process of Krishna consciousness and chant on beats, mm, when we read and when we listen, then we'll find a lot of gravity in our lives. mm. As in, this worldly talks won't be so entertaining, you know, after a long days of work, something, we it is observed, right? People end up going where, somewhere, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok and all, just to, as a downtown time. But even that downtown time, say, really doesn't uplift one as such. No. And after a point in time, even that Facebook and all becomes very dull and boring. So our speech is very, very important, as it says in this purport we read. And maybe Karthik or Renas can share this from Bhagavatam also. We'll see one shloka 2, 3, 20 from Shrimad Bhagavatam. Beautiful. Sukdev Goswami says, what? Bile batoru kramavikramanye na shranvate karna pute narasya jiva satida durike vasuta न च उपगायति उरुगाय गाथा. So in purport we see na, when just how does, you know, oh, this snake's food is diet is what? One of snake's diet is frog. Okay, someone can read translation. No, that's fine. Karthike, can you read translation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
One who has not listened to the messages about the powers and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snake and a tongue like the tongue of a frog.
Ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. Okay, screen can be checked. Huh? Now, one of the food diet of snake is what? Frog. Hmm. Now you know, in monsoon season, in summer, in monsoon season, and frog. How does frog speak? I'm terrible with making, but frog make this noise, tar tar tar, regularly. Tar tar. Seventh is better. Good. Yeah. So frog makes this noise, tar tar tar, and repeatedly, regularly, and in rainy season time. And by making this noise, frog is giving what? Snake the proper sat nav. No? The proper navigation. Oh, snake could be going in a wrong direction, but the frog again starts tar, tar, tar. So snake gets this intuition or this real direction from the fog. Okay, you have taken a wrong left, you have taken a wrong exit, turn around. Hmm, I'm here, I am here. So then what happens? Frog is making this constant noise, tir, 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 and snake comes. What? And off finishes the frog, swaha altogether. The frog is consumed by the snake. Likewise, when we talk and talk, but most of the talk, you know, in pubs, at workplaces, in work parties and all, men talk about, if I may say, hmm, men like talking about women and women like talking about dresses, say, by and large, throughout. And this is what then the vitality and the gravity, graveness, or this gravity is lost altogether. So there's no harm in speaking. We should speak. We have been blessed with this tongue, but it depends what we speak, how we use it. How we use it in order to purify, or in order to make this life successful altogether. Otherwise, time is ticking. Uh, we all are approaching that, believe it or not. We all are closing this gap towards that now, and still we have time with us. Still, the way we use our tongue and all, we can make the most of it in this life. Say. So this is Vacho Vegam, na, and tongue is such a powerful tool we have. The most powerful sense, or the most powerful tool we have, tongue. By speaking, so many wars have come about. Is it not? Tongue is the more powerful than a nuclear weapon. Say. Hmm. The way we speak and all can cause havoc in one's life, in our family's life, society, and furthermore. So powerful. And another feature, see, of all the senses, what senses we have? Which are eyes, ear, right? Nose, tongue, skin. Of all these senses, it is the tongue which does two jobs. Eyes, they do the only function of seeing, right? With eyes, we can see only. With ears, we can hear only. Hmm? We cannot see as such from our ears. Uh, with our, say, nose, we can just smell. Uh, with skin, we can just say touch like that. But tongue does two jobs. What? Speaking and eating. Through tongue we speak, and through tongue we eat. So tongue is the most powerful sense we have. I was. So life, we were discussing, life is meant to be ever happy. Life is not just meant to control the senses, control the mind, or just be tolerant. No? But in order to be ever happy, we have to tolerate the material urges, not the urge to speak spiritually. No, that urge we don't have to tolerate. Rather, we should be continuously speaking. And a day has to come in our life when we have to experience that peace. That day should come in our life when we experience that gravity, say, that sobriety, that calmness. And if not now, then when? And youth is the best time. Youth is the best time. When one is in youth, there's vitality, there's vibrancy, right? There's stamina, um, there's fresh energy, and youth can bring about that change. Very difficult to change at old age. Ways are already set. Ways are already set in one's old age or advanced age. And a children, again, very difficult. A child can be molded very nicely. But youth definitely has this power, has this stamina, if given a good direction, a good vision. Uh, So it is not about like don't speak. There are many okay, don't speak. Mm. And society sees a monk who does not speak. Wow, such a great monk. Yes, that is respected, that is appreciated. But speak na Baba, speak in a way that you can inspire the nation altogether. You can encourage the nation altogether. Uh, That should be done. Chant in a way you can encourage the nation altogether in chanting. Uh, Involve, engage the nation altogether in chanting. So this mind control, anger control. Anger. They say anger is what? Anger is just a step away from danger. Uh, anger. Devotees say this beautiful, and one can experience for himself herself. Anger is what? Like anger is taking a charcoal in one's hand, burning charcoal in one's hand, and expecting the other person to feel the heat of it. Feel the heat of it. Like uh, when we when we speak angrily, we are ourselves getting consumed by that anger. We are ourselves getting consumed by the fire. It is like speaking poison and expecting the other person to suffer from it. No, the other person may or may not suffer. That is secondary. Who suffers first from the anger? We ourselves. If that anger is self centeredness or if that anger is material. But there is a spiritual anger. See, this emotion, emotion of speaking can never be taken off. Soul wants to speak. Soul is active by nature. Soul wants to speak. Soul is active by nature. Soul is thinking. Soul, of course, this anger, it cannot be given away. It is an emotion. It has its place where becoming angry when we see someone blaspheming, say scriptures, we see someone unduly, or blaspheming has to be unduly only, blaspheming Krishna, blaspheming saints, then yes, show anger. Otherwise, calm. Otherwise, stay calm. Yeah, wherever needed, no, wherever that anger. If a mother, she should be angry at her child to discipline the child, should she not? To help the child, mm, for the progressive betterment of the child. So, in that sense, yes, anger has its place. But even anytime getting angry also, still we should be able to detach ourselves. But when it comes to like say protecting Krishna, devotees and all, then there is full scope of getting angry. Otherwise, not. I'd share one small story. Say, uh, uh, there's this king, Alexander, right, from Greece. Uh, Alexander the Great. And we have another dear friend Alexander here in front of us from Italy. So this king, Alexander the Great, they say what? He conquered all over the world. Uh, but one area or one country he did not conquer. Happened to be India, say. And his
Magad,
army and all. Huh?
Magad Prabhuji, Magad,
Hmm.
the name of the kingdom.
Okay. So he entered India, that province, that area at that point in time, say, now politically called as India. So, and there, the culture and everything, the workings was very fascinating. And they say what? This Alexander, he went to Vrindavan. Hmm. the holy place of Vrindavan, where Krishna spent his childhood and performed lots of pastimes. So Alexander he went there, Vrindavan, with his troops and military, and he sent his commander in chief to one of the saints' hermitage there, to one of the monks' saints' ashram there, and told what that okay. Tell the saint that Alexander wants to meet him next day morning. So asked the saint to come and see Alexander next day morning. You know what does the saint reply? He replies, I'm not going to come. He says, I'm not going to come. Huh? And tell Alexander that I'm busy. I've got my morning schedule, my morning program. I cannot make it. I won't be able to make it. He says, how dare you? Do you know who he is? And do you not pray for your life? Do you not want your life? So the saint says, yeah, that's fine. I know who is. Who is he? Huh? He is the servant of my servant. The saint said this to the commander in chief. Look, such a audacious statement to make, right? Such a bold statement. Look at his guts, say the saint's guts. Fearless. He said, who is I know who is Alexander. He's the servant of my servant. And the commander in chief, he was furious. He fumed. Fine, he said something, but he didn't do much. And he went back to Alexander and he reported hesitatingly that what? Oh, the saint is not willing to come. He doesn't want to come. Why? What did he say? Share detail? Well, please don't take it an offense. The commander in chief is telling to the king, huh? Pardon me, but I'm just repeating what he said. And he says that you are the servant of his servant. Really? That audacity. Okay. Alexander was a bit impressed or interested or wanting to see what is it. Hmm? So the next day, the king himself went to the saint's hermitage, to his quarter, to his ashram, and the saint was chanting there, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The king entered, so the screen greeted the king. Okay, the king has come as a guest and greeted, welcomed the king, and the king asked that. I'm very intrigued. You say that I'm the servant of your servant. What makes you say this? How dare you, or what makes you say this? Quite intriguing, you know. What does the saint reply? Saint replies this. Look, Mr. Alexander, you are a servant of anger. You are being controlled by anger. You are serving your anger. And I have mastered over anger. Anger is my servant. I've mastered over anger. So, where is it wrong when I say that you are the servant of my servant? Anger has become my servant, and you are subject to anger. What are we subject to? We are subject to anger, no? We are subject to the control of the mind, the demands of the mind, the urges of the senses, genitals, belly. These are what we subject to. And that saint, he was master of all of that. So he's saying, look, so far you have been serving what? Your lust, anger, greed, pride, vanity. huh? And I have mastered over all of this. And the joy I am experiencing. How many have we seen? Uh, saints, they are generally, monks saints, they are generally externally materially seen to be poor, right? Impoverished, or at least poor, or not so very wealthy or well off as such. But we find them so happy, so relaxed, so satisfied. And there are many who live posh but still inside of it burning. And we have Samantha here who is burning with a question or a comment or statement. So go on. Uh, Nice, good question. Yeah, we'll humble you with the response now. Samantha will try to humble you. Kartika, did you hear her question, Samantha's question? Or did anyone?
No,
I guess
Prabhuji.
not. Okay, so she's asking, correct me, Samantha. She's saying like this saint says, na, that you are the servant of my servant. I have mastered over anger. So she's saying, is it real humility? Is it humble? A wise man, a humble person, will he ever say this? That's precisely the question, right? When the wise person says this, is he saying any wrong to it? He's no, he's not saying it anything wrong to begin with. And he's not making himself superior or boasting out of it. Rather, he's helping the king. That look, Mr. King, this is where you ought to be. There's a huge gap in our life where what I am doing and what I ought to be doing. And we all know, we don't need much spoon feeding. Definitely, none of us need. It is all there. Wisdom is all there in us. Eh? Bhar bhar ke, foot ke, it is all there ingrained in us. It just needs a bit uncovering. As yesterday someone was saying, right? One can Only one can have this liberty to put someone down only if you are acting as a guardian or as a master in some capacity to elevate him. So the saint is saying here, not any out of any egoistic thing, but only with the intention to help Alexander see this perspective of life. Otherwise, if the saint does not speak like this, if the saint does not say this, who is going to say that? No? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the supreme personality of Godhead. Now many get offended by it. Why? Because there is some jealousy, some hatred. Yeah, this is not, yeah, constructive criticism, call it constructive criticism, because in this world, today's world, we like to be very politically correct. Huh? We be a bit politically correct, be a bit this. Of course, we should respect the culture. We should always respect the etiquette. We should never transgress etiquette. We should never transgress the cultural boundaries or that level of respect. But it is not all about being politically correct. What good is it to be politically correct and if it doesn't help someone out? Yeah. Like Prabhupada, fascinating. In Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, first text and the first sentence of purport, Prabhupada writes something that uh, it is all boils down to ignorance. Now, someone drowning in a sea, what is better, to save the person's trousers or to save the person? Many times, political correctness becomes like this, eh, that we are saving the person's trouser but not the person proper. eh. Many times, political correctness can become like what? Like this. See this. A doctor did an operation. Operation was successful, but the patient died. Hmm? Many times it happens. He did the operation very fine. Yes, everything proper, everything timely, everything. Operation, yes, we all did the job. Very good. But the patient died. So what good is that good sort of? No? So the saint here saying this, he's helping Alexander. There's no saint can speak strong, and what is the harm in speaking strong as long as you maintain that humility. So Karthikeya is strongly wanting to speak something now. Yes, go on, Karthikeya.
Prabhuji, I want to ask, like, isn't being, like being correct instead of being politically correct, privilege? Because Srila Prabhupada ji was, a saint, and he was very knowledgeable. He had complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other scriptures. So when he said Krishna is the supreme Godhead, and somebody else questioned him about it, he can, say that in this verse Krishna says this, and in this line Krishna says this. But like, if like me, I would say this thing in the public, people would ask me, how can you say that? Or Shiva is as great as Krishna. And
See, everyone speaks from his or her realization. Yeah,
hmm,
and we should speak from our realizations only. We speak, but yes, so one should preach to the degree one's realization is. And there's no one cannot not like there's no exaggeration in Krishna consciousness. Hmm? So, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and for more details, contact Bhagavad Gita as it is. Uh, For further information, please read Bhagavad Gita. Uh, One should not blindly reject. One should not blindly reject Krishna consciousness based on one's preconceived notions, based on one's preconceived ideas or beliefs or thoughts, or based on one's little bit of whatever experiences in life prior, uh, or based on what hearings from one granny, one's grandmother. One should not discard altogether blindly, and one should not blindly accept also. No, one should not blindly accept. One should apply one's proper intelligence. One should apply one's doubt as well. Doubting is a sign of intelligence. One should check it out. One should check it out. Put it into practice. Now, faith, the beautiful thing about faith is what? It has to be put into practice. It can be put into practice. It should be put into practice. And tell you something, all of us put faith into practice. In the sense, when we walk out of the room, we put the faith into, when we wake up early in the morning, get out of the bed, we put faith into practice that when I put my feet down from the bed, the floor is not going to crumble. We put that faith into practice. We put the faith into practice when I turn the switch on, I'm not going to get an electric shock. The light is going to turn up. Right? We put the faith into practice in our daily lives, knowingly, unknowingly, so much so. In school, college, uni, so much faith is just like that put into practice, is it not? Children is sent into school and he learns all this creation theory, Darwin, whatnot, everything. Uh, So why not put that faith in spiritual science as well? Put that into practice. We all have got this tendency in us to love and serve someone or the other. And what is Krishna consciousness? To expand that loving propensity altogether. It is only when we start loving and serving at a soul level, say, then we can find a real joy. You know, this world so far we have encountered only body level love. Uh, Like in Bhagavad Gita in general, you know what? This lust, it has the capacity to penetrate, to access, to touch the skin or the body only. And love has the capacity to touch the soul. So, to touch the soul, to penetrate the soul, to open up the soul altogether. And Krishna consciousness, the practice of Krishna consciousness gives us this opportunity to experience soul love, to experience this sort of love which is pure, very sacred, very divine. And in order to come to that platform, we have to be watchful of our speech, our mind, our anger, overall. Does that satisfy Krishna Karthik a bit?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
now Hare Krishna. Samantha is a bit unsatisfied though. You go on, Samantha. Yeah, sure, sure. Sure, of course. So Samantha is this another typical question I would say. So she another typical question, and we'll try to again say put her into place with all due humility. So the yeah, sure. So the question is that surely devotees they try to love Krishna, and but why is it all Krishna? No? This is the question, right? Why can we not love our mom, dad, family, friends, partners, children, husband, wife, and all? Yes, we all can, and we all should also. There, it should not be like shallow relationships and all. Love spiritually, in that sense. Like, mm, I have a question, Samantha. In a circle, how many centers are there? how many centers are there? Eh? In a circle, there can be only one center. There cannot be more than one center. So from that one center, if you can connect to n number of multiple say points on the circumference of the circle, right? But the center has to be one. So in life, the center has to be clear. When the center is Krishna, then yes, of course, we can love and serve each and everyone. Just like people speak of universal brotherhood, right? Universal brotherhood or universal sisterhood, for that matter, can never come about until and unless there is universal fatherhood. Who is the universal father? That has to be checked out. Then there can be universal brotherhood. See, parents. So you have one sister, one brother, right? Uh, Okay, sorry, four. So say someone has four sisters and two brothers. Now, why do the brothers and sisters have that love, have share that love with each other? Because there's one thing in common. What common parents, right? Yeah, common source. From there, and then they share that love, and that love, again, a bit speaking, say, is a bit different to the love the neighbors' children share and all. No, this thing connects through the source of parents. So likewise, when we are connected to the source, then we can properly help everyone. We can properly love and serve everyone. Otherwise, we cannot. If the center of the circle is not sorted, and I'm trying to help everyone, I'm trying to love everyone, it cannot happen. Our love has to be via Krishna. We can love others. But ignoring Krishna, and if I try to give my best to the society, I will always feel, oh, I'm giving my best. Many people, I'm giving best to my children, for my children. I've served throughout my life. Someone may say, right, I'm 70 plus now. There are many people, what? 70 plus. What did you do? Growing up, I served my parents. I listened, obeyed my parents faithfully. I served my teachers, obeyed my teachers, then my husband or wife, partner, children. And what do I get in life? Nothing. I'm always like, few. So, but when we serve Krishna and via Krishna, when we serve others, we'll find peace, satisfaction, contentment. Our expectation will be more realistic and we won't be getting that hurt. Does this put you in place a bit? Okay, go on. Sure. So, another nice question. As a practicing Krishna consciousness, it's nice that she sees me as a practicing Krishna consciousness. And yes, I do practice Krishna consciousness. And the question, in some form and shape, I try to. So, like practicing Krishna consciousness, have I experienced that sort of joy in, say, practice? So, you know, I got introduced to Krishna consciousness in the UK, not in India, say. Yeah. And every devotee has a fascinating story, fascinating experience, how they come into Krishna consciousness and practicing Krishna consciousness. And when devotees told me to chant japa, first I will briefly share. I was in York then, and devotees told me Bhagavad Gita. Have you read Bhagavad Gita? And I, in my stubbornness, which I'm still, I'm sorry about that though. In my stubbornness, yes, of course, I've read Bhagavad Gita. I'm Indian. Who hasn't read Bhagavad Gita? But I had not never read it. Hmm. But just to not look bad, say, yes, of course, I've read it. I know Bhagavad Gita. What more is there? Arjuna is not wanting to fight. Krishna speaks and Krishna makes him fight. Is there anything new, anything more to it? That was sort of my mood, or say, huh? But still, and devotees then asked me to chant on beats. And me being me, I was like, okay, I will chant Hare Krishna. And I knew some mantras from before also. So I will chant other mantras and I will see, I will do some comparative analysis as if I have something. But fine. And when I started chanting Hare Krishna, I used to experience such a joy never experienced before. See, family fine, health fine, job fine, money fine, everything fine, friends and all. But this studies and all good, but like this sort of joy never experienced before by chanting on beads. And I was like, what is this? And I could feel like before practicing Krishna consciousness, job is fine, money is fine, family is fine, parents good, everything. But there's something missing, some missing link. What is it? And I was not able to pinpoint why something. mm. And then when I started practicing Krishna consciousness, wow, that sort of joy. And when I met a devotee, a special devotee in Vrindavan, I was traveling then a bit in India. I traveled, went to Vrindavan, met a devotee and spent one day with him, one evening, few minutes, some hours, few minutes with him, and 3 4 days I was in Vrindavan then. So regularly, daily, I used to meet him, and after the way he introduced me into Krishna consciousness, especially the attitude and all bit of it, then I said to myself, if there is something I would like to do in life, and I'm sure I would never complain about it, it has to be Krishna consciousness. It has to be this simplicity. Yeah? So to answer your question, it is simple to be happy, but difficult to be simple. It is simple to be happy, but difficult to be simple. And I realize this more and more as I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. And I'm finding the practice of Krishna consciousness so simple, so down to earth, so soul touching that this is where I find the highest saturation. And this is not subjective, perhaps. This can be everyone's experience, and this is to be experienced. This is to be realized. This is not in theory. Mm. Theory helps, and theory has its limitation also. Theory can take us to only a certain point. If it can activate us to get into that practice, or if it can activate us into any inquisitiveness, into any intellectual bit somewhere, if it hurts us, great. Then does that somewhat answer your question? Okay. So, okay, any other thoughts, question, comments, or clarifications? All right, so on this note, we'll give you peace and we'll continue tomorrow with whatever purport is left. We'll read more and s- see more in this nectar of instruction. But these instructions are valuable gems altogether, and they can uh, let us attain Krishna in this life itself or attain success in this life itself. So, just to end, speaking on success, these instructions, many a people they find what peace in success. Peace in success, meaning, oh, I've good job, good house, good money, good partner, good holidays and all. So yes, this is success and I will find peace in this success. Once I get this, yes, I will find peace. So many find peace in success. And there are some who find what? Success in peace. There are some who find success in peace. And this is this Krishna consciousness or this nectar of instruction, these teachings, which will help us realize to find that success in peace, to find that success in satisfaction, the joy of satisfaction. And until and unless we are satisfied with our present situation, we can never take a step ahead in life. We can never move ahead, progress in life. So, on this note, I'll give you peace. Thank you very much for your kind participation and encouragement and wonderful questions. And we'll continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mm.